I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I will be having the invocation and pledge. Heavenly Father, giver of life, each new year and each new day, it is a gift from you. Help us to acknowledge that our gift is a work to do your will and praise your name. Help us to reflect you in all that we do. May others see you in us today and every day. Amen. Amen.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank all of you for coming out to participate in Newberry County government. And at this time, well, right before I turn this meeting over to Mr. Tothaker, I just want to say I will not be seeking re-election for county chair. It has been 12 years of I guess you would say ups and downs and enjoyment, but I think it's time for somebody else to take the lead. So at this time, I will turn it over to Mr. Tothaker for election of officers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Everybody can hear me, I hope. We'll start first. I'll call for nominations for chair. And the way that I will work this, if there's more than one nomination, then we'll vote following that till we get to a decision. So I'll open the floor for nominations for chair.
I'd like to nominate Les Hipp for chair.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Todd Johnson.
Okay. Any other nominations? Without objection, I'll close the nominations. And since Mr. Hipp was nominated first, we will ask all in favor for Mr. Hipp.
Could I just make a comment? Regardless of the outcome of the election, I know that I will have Todd's full support, and Todd is a very capable person, and I know Todd would give his full support to me. I think we have an extremely challenging year facing us with our new administrator and with a number of positions that need to be filled. With all that being said, I'm up to the job, but I certainly know that Todd can do the job equally. I do have some time allowance in that I'm retired and that I'm very close to the office here. But those things being said, I appreciate consideration by council. On the other hand, regardless of the outcome, we will all continue to work together this year.
Mr. Johnson, since Mr. Hipp took a personal point, do you?
I think he summed it up well. We're morphing into a team. We'll do well. Everybody knows me. You know what I bring to the table, and so I'd appreciate the support.
Given that, I will call for the votes for Mr. Hipp, if you'll signify by raising your hand. All in favor of Mr. Hipp? Okay. All in favor of Mr. Johnson, if you'll raise your hand. As I see it, it's 5-2 for Mr. Johnson, 2 for Mr. Hipp. So, Mr. Johnson, you're the new chair. Now I will move on to vice chair.
Thank you, sir.
Again, I'm sorry. Did you have something, Ms. Scurr? You're getting ready for vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Travis Reeder for vice chair.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Les Hipp for chair.
Okay. Are there
Vice
any
chair.
more nominations? Hearing none, I'll declare the nominations closed. Since Mr. Scurry nominated Mr. Reeder first, we'll vote first on Mr. Reeder. All in favor of Mr. Reeder, if you'll raise your right hand. Okay. All in favor of Mr. Hipp for vice chair, if you'll raise your hand. It looks like it's 4 for Mr. Hipp and 3 for Mr. Reeder. So, Mr. Reeder, congratulations, you're the vice chair. I'm sorry, Mr. Hipp, you're the vice chair. I had that exactly backwards. And with that, I will now turn the meeting back over to Chairman Todd Johnson.
Thank you so much. Next item on the agenda is a council to introduce and welcome Mr. Christopher Inglese as the new county administrator. It is my honor to introduce to you our new county administrator, Mr. Christopher S. Inglese. Christopher is an established and dedicated public administration professional with a passion for local government, urban planning, and law. Christopher has over 20 years of experience. Christopher has 3 years of public administration experience with the Beaufort County government as a deputy administrator and deputy county attorney. He has 9 years of public service as a city planner for the City of Charleston Department of Planning, Preservation, and Sustainability. He also has 8 years in the private sector as an owner and of counsel for the law firm of Briggs and Iglesias, focused on government law, land use, and civil litigation. He has a Juris Doctor from the Charleston School of Law, a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy with history minor from the College of Charleston, and an associate's degree paralegal from Trident Technical College. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Christopher S. Iglesias. We welcome you to Newberry County. We're excited to have you and your growing family on board with us, and we just know that this is going to be a wonderful relationship for many, many, many years to come.
Yes,
Is there anything you'd like to say?
just thank you. We're happy to be here, and we're ready to get to work. There's a lot to do, and it's been a great couple days. Mr. McDonald and Debbie and Karen have made me feel more than welcome, and the team is strong and ready to get to work, as I know you are as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody want to add anything to Mr. Iglesias? All right, hearing none, is there a motion for the adoption of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second? Second by Ms. Airwood, is there a discussion? Hearing none, all in favor by show of hands, and opposed likewise. It passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is additions, deletions, and adoptions of the consent agenda. I'm sorry, adoption of the agenda. Any additions or deletions?
No.
Hearing none, is there a motion that we adopt the agenda as published?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Airwood, second by Mr. Hipp. Is there discussion? All in favor by show of hands. Opposed likewise. It carries unanimously. Item number 6 on the agenda is ordinance number 112821, an ordinance to amend the budget ordinance for the fiscal year 2021-22, ordinance number 41221, to provide for the revised revenue and expenditure appropriations related to the capital purposes of Newberry County. This is the public hearing. We declare the public hearing open. There is no one that has signed up for the public hearing. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in the public hearing? Hearing none, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion by council? Motion. Did I see motion by Mr. Hipp, second by Ms. Airwood? Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor by show of hands. Opposed likewise. It carries unanimously. Ordinance 122921, an ordinance for redistricting of Newberry County based on the 2020 census.
Chairman.
Need to do third and final reading of that.
I thought that was the motion for the,
That was a public hearing.
That was the public hearing. You need a motion and a second.
my apologies. Thank you. Now, is there a motion that this be the third and final reading of this ordinance? My apologies.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Airwood, second by Mr. Hill. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor by show of hands. Opposed likewise. This is the third and final reading. Item number 7 is ordinance 122921, an ordinance for redistricting of Newberry County Council based on the 2020 census. I believe we have some information forthcoming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the easel before you is a draft proposal for the redistricting. If you recall, when Mr. Rainwater came before us in December, he indicated that they could take a stab, or they could attempt to do a draft that would fit the requirements that he talked to us about. And, excuse me, I mailed this to all of you as a PDF form, and also this sheet, which is the statistics that back it up, and I believe that you all have one of these. As you can tell, this is the largest format that the county is capable of printing. It's a 3x3, and several of you were looking at it. It's not real easy to discern what's there. In simple, where you see the colored districts, those are the proposed districts with this version. Where you see the red lines, and this is on here, and we can make it larger if you choose, but where you see the red lines is the districts as they exist right now. So for instance, let me go to the map. You can see it here. And the person who's helping us can enlarge this if you want to go in on it. So as an example, if you recall, Mrs. Arrowwood had the greatest change. She had a plus 12% change. So her district is District 2. It's sort of blue, light blue. And if you look, her original lines, what's in place right now, is around this way. So she has actually lost portions. She lost a portion here that's in Mr. Livingston's district, I believe. And she lost a portion here in Mr. Reeder's district, I think, four.
Wow.
In Mr. Shealy's district. And then a portion over here that is in Mr. Reeder's district. We're happy to enlarge this if you want to. The reason I had sent it to you, and I wasn't trying to hold this up, I sent it to you the same day that I got it from the RFA. So what you have that you can look at home on your computer or here, you can enlarge this because it's a PDF to any detail you want to. What happens as you enlarge it is then you have to shift the margins. If you have specific questions, the gentleman who's running our stuff said he can enlarge it. So if there's any of you that want to start or see more to it, then we can talk about that right now on one of the versions that you can see here. The other thing I will mention to you, if you agree that this is a good start, this is certainly not the final version, and you approve it, and then when we approve second reading, we will attach this version right now. It's called draft, and also attach what you're looking at on the ward sheet, which is the backup statistics related to the change in the districts. If you approve that for second reading tonight, we'll put it on the website tomorrow, so anybody who wants to will have the capability of seeing the ordinance and the two attachments. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for our attorney? Do y'all need a minute to study it, or are you, anyone prepared to make a motion?
Ready to make a motion?
Motion that we accept this as second reading from Reverend Scurry.
Yes.
Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Airwood. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor by show of hands? Opposed likewise? Was it unanimous? Did,
I actually abstained from voting just because I haven't had a full opportunity to go through this, because we did just get it, and I'm not going to vote against it. I didn't vote for it. I didn't ask for a table.
right.
But I will abstain this time and look at it more, and then we'll see by third reading.
Sounds good. So
If
we
anything
have
comes out.
6-4 with Mr. Hip abstaining. 6-1, I'm sorry, 6-4.
Mr. Chairman, if I can just add one other.
Yes, sir, please do.
Please, if you don't like what you see, the sooner you can tell me that you don't like it, or we can schedule another meeting. As you recall, when Mr. Raymore was here, we are trying to get this done at the latest by hopefully the second meeting in February. And when we give third reading, it will have to have a public hearing. It's not the easiest thing to do to schedule a public hearing since the Observer publishes once a week. So we currently have this set for third reading on the 19th of this month, which if we don't make it, that's fine. But what I'm trying to do is to keep us on track, because as all of you as elected officials know, soon they will begin voting for people who want to become a candidate. And obviously, it's more beneficial if there's a county council member, or, and I'll mention this, the school district follows the district's set. So the council member or school district board member is interested, it'd be nice to have the final version so that when they go to file, they'll know where they are. Thank you.
And did I see on the email that it had been shared with them as well?
Yes, sir. I shared.
I thought I
with
saw
them
that.
As soon, well, I shared with them, not this one, I shared with them before they used this one. If you recall, I showed y'all at one point a map, the old districts, with where you were located. And I've also sent that to the superintendent and asked him to share that because they also did where school board members are located.
Yes.
This is entirely within council's purview to make the decision, but what we try to do is recognize where people live so we don't have somebody, two incumbents running against each other.
Perfect. Thank you for that explanation.
I can send this to the superintendent tomorrow, the same thing that we get it on the website.
Yes,
I
sir.
will look at my area closer. I lost the most, but really what I see is what I had kind of projected myself
She's district
to.
2.
Yeah.
He's showing that up. If you get more.
I have a rather unique relationship with my school board member, so I went ahead and shot it on to him, but that may not be the case for everybody.
Well, I just want to make sure when I send it to you, it's currently a draft. Until you took that vote, it has no official status. Now it does. This is the first version. I'm not going to say it's the final version, but it's the first version.
A version.
Yeah, I will look at it real close, but
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda, thank you for that preparation. Ordinance 010522, an ordinance to authorize the grant of an easement to Newberry Electric Cooperative for the purpose of locating an electric transmission line at Midcarolina Commerce Park 2, located on South Carolina Highway 773. Okay, all right. Mr. Shealy is recusing himself. He already had it in hand. He was ready to go. So, is there a motion that this be first reading? Motion by Mr. Reader, second by Mr. Scurry. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor by show of hands. All opposed likewise. It carries 6 with Mr. Shealy abstaining. Would you invite, somebody already invited him back in. Next is a consideration to accept the bid for the purchase of a vehicle for the Recreation Department. Crystal Walter, Procurement Director, and Jesse Long, Recreation Director.
Jesse's wanting to purchase this vehicle that is through Cromley Ford. It matches the state contract pricing. There's 2 vendors on state contract actually that sell Ford vehicles, Santee Automotive and Vic Bailey. The amount, and I don't have it in front of me, Jesse, is $28,009. $28,627. I think the only concern here is that there's inadequate funding in that particular line item. It was budgeted, but she's short a few dollars, and I think she's requesting a line item transfer from her existing budget.
Correct.
In which line item?
It is utilities and, yes.
Camps.
Camping plan.
Pro-
Sorry, I didn't write it.
What's the amount that,
It's $7,624 total. It's $850 from utilities and $6,774 from camps and clinic.
but it does match the state contract pricing. It's through Cromley Ford locally.
I'm maybe in the minority here, but I think if we can do business local at the same price, I always like to do that. So is there a motion from council that we allow her to transfer those funds? Reverend Scurry with a motion. Second. Honorable.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I think what Chris was hoping is you would
Approve
approve
the-
transferring funds, but also approve the purchase.
Correct.
I'm sorry, I didn't say that. Reverend Scurry, is your motion to approve transferring the funds and the purchase of the vehicle?
That's correct.
And is your second for that?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Is there discussion now that there's a motion and a second? All in favor by show of hands?
All right, thank you.
Opposed likewise, carries unanimously. Update on the capital project sales tax. After an hour and 40 minutes of that, I can't imagine that you have much more to tell us, but is there anything you would like to add?
Maybe just for the public's benefit, the council approved moving forward with getting cost estimates for 10 projects, and we'll make those projects available to the press and to the public.
Thank you. Very wise move there, Christopher. That's why we brought you here. Next on the agenda is appointment. Is there any council member with appointments? Hearing none, we'll move to public comments. First signed up is Mr. Keith Avery with Newberry Electric Co-op. Ms. Shealy, you might know that guy.
I got a good idea who he is. He might cause trouble, I don't know.
Thank y'all for allowing me to be here. I'd hoped to be doing a little more, but I'm going to cover just a few things. I'm going to ask Stephanie Sullivan, who's our VP of Operations Support, and who's been the project manager of our fiber. As council is well aware, Newberry Electric Cooperative has been aggressive in bringing high-speed internet into the county as a whole. In doing that, unfortunately, we do not serve the entire county. There are pockets that are served by other utilities. As we are steady rolling this out, then of course I get phone calls from these other pockets. And
We do too.
and I'll be glad to pass some more along to you if you'd like to take those. But what we did is we looked at it because we know council has received, the ARPA funds, and part of those ARPA funds are being allocated or can be allocated toward bringing broadband into the rural areas. So we took it upon ourselves to look at the unserved areas. Now, there's certain guidelines that you have to follow. Typically, what we did was look at total unserved area, all right? Unserved as being defined now by anything DSL or less. The way the FCC defines high-speed internet, unfortunately, right now, is if you got 25.3 speed. That is subject to change with the next Infrastructure Act that's coming out. The FCC is looking at 100 by 25. 100 by 25 we still feel is not good enough. What we're offering is a minimum 300 by 300 at our lowest rate. But in looking at these areas, we're looking at the cost it would take to serve these areas. We're looking at what it would take from a time standpoint. One of the reasons I wanted to do a formal presentation tonight was because at the time is critical. Time is of the essence. Right now, with the supply chain that we have moving forward, I can't even get fiber for about 40 weeks. So if council elects to use some of that funding to bring broadband into the rural area, there is no way anybody can even attempt to start build out to the unserved areas until the first of the year, most likely. I have some numbers that we put on there. I was asked to look at two other areas within the county, one being the Whitmire area, one being the Pomeri area. I have those numbers for those areas as well. Chairman Johnson probably knows that in the Whitmire area, according to Spectrum, you have high-speed internet, so you're not eligible in the Whitmire area. There are portions of Pomeri that have internet, and there's portions that do not. In looking at it and with the cost associated with it, I would recommend that if council elected to do something, then of course they would do it in two phases. Now, y'all have been in meetings and y'all have heard of the Infrastructure Act that is coming down. There's supposed to be some other money being allocated to the state of South Carolina. What I'm being told through ORS is it could be at minimum $100 million into the state, and it could be as much as $288 million into the state. Whoever did the analysis for the state of South Carolina stated it would take $700 million to do the entire rural area. You see right there what we're already spending. That's what it would take to finish out Newberry County, other than the Whitmire-Pomeri areas themselves. I would like to come back at a later date, if council so desires. We could give you a formal presentation. This is to give you some information to chew on a little bit. And in the meantime, if y'all will please give me your cell phone number so I can pass it out to the county, I'll be more than happy to do that.
It's on
to
the
these-
internet. We don't have to give it to you.
Excellent. I'll give them the internet. And I kind of make light of it, but these folks, y'all, this pandemic has really brought forth a lot of issues. First and foremost is our school districts and with our kids. They can't do their homework. Everything now is via web. I get phone calls from teachers, I get phone calls from parents, and rightfully so. They need it to be able to get, their education. So it's imperative that we look at this at doing something. But I'll be happy to answer any questions. This is just a preliminary rollout, give y'all something to look at, give you something to think about, and if you want to do something, then I'll be glad to come back and make a formal presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Anybody got questions for Mr. Avery? Does this, I'm just looking at it, does this include the Maventon area and the Bush River, Jalapa area? Does it include all those areas?
You see all those areas, well, the Bush River and Jalapa area, we serve. That's being done now. As a matter of fact, the Bush River area is available for high-speed internet. They can sign up today. We just finished that. Same thing with the Jalapa
Connors area?
Connors. Over toward Maventon, Blair, we're actually building the main line to those as well. If you look at your map that corresponds with the old districts that we have, not what y'all were just talking about, you see the yellow areas on the map itself.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your unserved areas.
I got you.
Any other questions?
Anybody got anything? Yeah. Chapels is considered served?
Which one?
Chapels.
Chapels is not really our area.
I got you.
With the General Assembly last year, with the act that they passed, I cannot go 2 miles outside of my service area
Okay.
without some form of a grant. Chapels, part of Chapels is served by Piedmont Rural Telephone out through there. Not all of it, especially down on, our county lines is County Line Road, back toward Scurry's Pasture, what I call Scurry's Pasture over on Lake Greenwood. Some of that area would probably need to be served, but right now Piedmont Rural has that.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
In a meeting that I was at recently with the South Carolina Association of Counties, there is supposed to be some additional layout by the state and the federal government that we have not seen yet. Am I correct, Keith?
That is correct. We have not seen it. My understanding is that funding is going to be rolled through the state, not through the county. Right now, all of the grants that are being handled for broadband are being handled by the Office of the Regulatory Staff with the director, Nanette Edwards. So right now, we don't know. That's where we hope the speed changes, because right now 25.3 is just ridiculous, to spend that kind of money for 25.3 speed. The impact, the timeline, we've got some grants now from the state that we're working on. I have to complete those grants within a timeline. We hope to be complete with our rollout by October of this year to meet, those standards. So we don't know what the criteria is. We don't know what the metrics are going to be to obtain those grants. And the problem, like I said, now is labor and the supply chain. If we went and council agreed this month, next month, whichever, to do certain areas or fund certain areas for broadband, like I said, I can't even get the fiber till the end of the year.
And that seems to be universal.
Yes, it's universal. It's not just us.
Yes, sir.
Fortunately for us, we have developed some relationships, with suppliers, and, just to give you an idea, everything that we're doing today, we ordered a year ago.
Wow. That's crazy. Anybody got anything else?
So some of these grants that you may be putting in for could be used for, would have to be used for this, or some of the,
The grants that we're putting in for, I can only put in for areas that we serve.
that you
Okay.
serve?
And the reason being is those grants are 50-50 grants. By law, I cannot use member money to serve non-members.
Okay. You've given us a lot to think about. We appreciate you coming tonight.
Thank you very much.
The lovely Miss Lily Hunter.
Good evening, Honorable Council and staff. I was an enumerator for the 2020 U.S. Census, and that's what I'm speaking on. I have some comments about the redistricting map.
Yes, ma'am.
I have some blood, sweat, and tears in those numbers that you have. I've dealt with some nice people, and I dealt with some vicious dogs, and I dealt with some people that slammed doors in my face, and I had to repeatedly try to go back and try to get numbers from them. So I just wanted to comment about the process, and I'm hoping that, I'm thinking common sense. You know, like I live on Boundary Street, so I would like to be able to talk to my representative, my county councilman, about my area, and not have it, you know, strange, bizarre lines drawn. You know, Boundary Street, O'Neill Street, you know, or streets in my area. So, you know, we don't want people across the street voting for a different person. So I just wanted to have, you know, just throw common sense in there. And I know you will do that. So, you know, we don't want people across the street voting for different people. And again, main thing, if I talk to my county councilman about something that's happened on O'Neill Street or Charlotte Street or Wright Street, then my county councilman will know, or woman will know what I'm talking about. So that's my comments.
First,
That, you know, we keep things logical, and people in the neighborhood, we keep broad interests and neighborhoods together. You know, people my age, you know that my neighborhood is called Cannontown. We have Graveltown, we have other area nicknames for neighborhoods. And so, you know, we just like to keep those common interests together.
First, let me say what I said earlier, and this is a prime example. I don't know how you do all that you do, so thank you for going out and doing that very unthankful job of doing the census. And if at all possible, we would agree with the same thing. I think I would speak for everybody in here. It would be so much simpler if we had bright lines where things broke, because we do, even in running for office, one side of the street may be in your district and the other side of the street may not be. And so there is a challenge to get demographics correct, to make sure that the districts are fair. But I would agree wholeheartedly with what you said.
Thank you so much for all y'all's
Anybody
work.
got anything else from Ms. Hunter? We're gonna have a Lily Hunter Day one day is what we're gonna have to have. All right, comments from either the brand new or the interim who's still hanging around, County Administrator. We'll give you both a microphone.
No comments, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations to you, Mr. Hipp.
Thank you. Comments from council members. Honorable Reverend Scurry.
We appreciate council, all employees of Newberry County, and we're asking council, let's support our county that we're supposed to. We worked great for all last year, different tools around the county, and we're asking the same participation this year in 2022, that we all pull our hands together, our minds together, and support one another, and we can go forward like that. Thank you.
Honorable Reader.
I'd like to welcome Mr. Iglesias and his family to Newberry. Looking forward to working with you. Anything that you need, let us know. Give us a holler. We'll try to get it together. Also like to invite everybody out to the Martin Luther King Day program. We will have a parade on January the 16th at 2 p.m. down Main Street. And on January 17th, we will have a program in the Memorial Park, right in front of the Opera House. March at 10 o'clock, program at 10:30. So we're looking forward to see everybody out there.
10:30, you
Yes.
said? Okay. All right. Honorable Council Livingston.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations, Todd. Congratulations, Les. Christopher, I'm not sure congratulations, but welcome aboard for all the challenges that you have in front of you. We appreciate you coming to Newberry County. Hope your tenure here is long and productive. Again, look forward to having you, your wife, and your growing family, your 13 kids later on down the road. Here as part of Newberry County. Again, thank you. Keith, you and Stephanie, thank y'all for being here. I know I called you yesterday and asked you to come do a blip on this, just so that everybody's kind of aware of what's coming. So thank you and Stephanie for coming out tonight, kind of an impromptu notice, but appreciate you being here. Also, just like to say, y'all, it's been a great ride, 12 years of being chairman of county council, and I wish the best to my hero right here. He'll be here to support him in any way I can. So again, congratulations one more time.
Ms. Harewood?
Congratulations, and congratulations to you, and I look forward to working with y'all, continuing to work with you. And Christopher, we're happy to have you, and look forward to working with you. And I know we got a lot of work to get done, and I'm ready to move forward and have a great year.
Vice Chair Hipp?
Congratulations, Todd. I will give you all the support possible throughout this year. Thanks to everybody on council for the consideration for both chair and vice chair. I'm so glad to have Christopher here and have the search process over. Don't want to do this again anytime soon, Christopher, so we want you to stay around. Thanks to Tony for all he's done to get us through some difficult months behind us. Appreciate all you've done for us, Tony. And as I did mention earlier, I feel like this is going to be an extremely challenging year for this council. We've got a lot of openings that we need to fill with qualified people. We've got a new administrator that we need to help him in any way possible. All of us do. So, you know, it's going to be a busy year. It's not going to be an easy year, but it can be a fun and productive year. So, anyway, thank you.
Mr. Shealy?
Congratulations, Todd, Les. I guess congratulations. You got a lot of work ahead of you, but we look forward to working with you. I think you'll do great things with Newberry, and we look forward to working with you.
All right. I don't want us to leave here, and I don't want to belabor you, and so if I talk too long, y'all can leave. People get up in my sermons all the time, so, but buddy, I could not let this night go by without thanking you for the leadership that you have provided. I sat on that side of this council and thought county council was one thing. I got on this side.
It's different.
And I called you one Saturday morning crying because I was ready to quit. I was gonna hang it up. I was gonna resign. I didn't want any part of this. I have been called names in 1 year on county council that I did not get called in 31 years of law enforcement and 35 years of officiating. And so for you to be the man that you were, to always answer my call, to always talk to me, and to be there when my grandchild passed away, and to do all that you did, man, I never, no matter what, whether you chair or not, you always got a place in my heart, man. So I just can't say enough good about your leadership and what you brought us through. Indeed, Mr. Hipp, this will be a tough year, but the truth is we come through one heck of a year already. And so y'all bear with me. Travis Reeder, I love you with all my heart and soul, and I hope you know that. So I do anything in the world for you. So I say, it's a brand new start, brand new folks, brand new look, and Newberry County, the future is bright. Is there a motion to?
Future meetings.
Future meetings, I'm sorry. I got all sentimental and got teared up. And future meetings, County Council, January 19th, Public Safety and Courts on January 24th, Public Works and Planning on January 31st. Now,
Minutes.
is there a motion to adjourn? Motion, is there a second? All in favor? We stand adjourned.